Welcome to the Edinburgh Fringe. There's a legend. There's a legend. There's a legend. There's John Robertson. There's a legend. There's a legend. There's a legend. There's a legend. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. And John, if you're listening, I know you'll appreciate the joke. The Dark Room sells out every year at the Fringe. You've still got time to try and find tickets. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. It's getting close to the end of the Fringe, and yeah, there's lots of almost like the end of term hijinks going on, but there's still so much to see. We're about, as I said in the last pod or two, where is the sort of length? Where is anything that is comparable to the Fringe? And I always love to use Glastonbury as a little marker, because everybody says it's so long, it's so jam-packed full of acts, yet it is just a fraction of what Edinburgh has to offer every single year. I said that there's a legend. Everybody has such wonderful personal stories to tell, and it is one of the delights of the Fringe to learn about something new, about somebody new, about people. It's one of the reasons I love doing this show, because theatre, Fringe theatre especially, is a great educator. It hides those learnings inside music, inside funny moments, sometimes even hiding inside mime. But it's all there. So this year, one of those legends, I'm going to stay with legend, is Sutara Gayle. And this has been one of those moments of just listening and learning. She was a pioneering female DJ on London's infamous reggae scene in the 1980s, gaining her first record contract. There's a personal tragedy in life that sparked the Brixton Uprising. She's worked with the LGBTQAI plus community, especially within the Afro-Caribbean community. It is a life well lived and a life that has touched and helped so many others. She's bringing some of that life to the Fringe in The Legends of Them, a unique theatrical shared spiritual experience. It's an enthralling force, and I had a chance to speak to her ahead of the show getting into Edinburgh. Joining me now, Sutara Gayle. Welcome to the show, Sutara.
Thank you very much.
The Legends of Them, which is popping up at Zoo Southside, now running through until the end of the Fringe. Mm-hmm. And I do get the feeling that, looking through the press release and then doing a bit of research, I'm looking at you and thinking, I think I'm speaking to a legend. But and this is a curious thing, a legend in one area of culture that I have very little experience of, which is the music scene in Brixton in the 80s. In the 80s, I'm stuck here in Scotland in a little mining village, so amazingly, that's not on my radar. If I ask people in Brixton, is she a legend, would they say yes?
If you asked if Lorna G was a legend, they'd say yes. I've changed my name since then. Yeah. No, I think, do you know what? Growing up in Brixton, everyone's a legend in Brixton, man, I've got to say. But,
tell me about growing up. Yeah. Tell me about your career.
My career started on the sound systems back in the late 70s, early 80s. I started very, very early when I was very, very young. I used to love going to the sound systems, the blues dances, and just seeing all the guys on the mic. And I just thought, I want to do that as well. Had a story to tell. I had a lot of, oomph inside of me, raw passion. As a storyteller as well. And I was able to force my way onto the microphone. It took a lot of goes, but I finally got there. And once I got hold of the microphone, I never let it go.
You're going to have to explain sound systems to me.
That's a very, very good question. Back in the days, um, especially Caribbean people used to build sounds, build it with the amplifier, with the treble and the bass. They used to build sound systems that had a really heavy sound. And I come from a sound system culture where they had the hundreds of sounds, even in where you are there in Scotland. They have many wonderful sounds out there as well, which we go to find out. But, there was, so they had like Saxon sound, they had Coxswain, they had, nasty rockers, you had diamonds, you had jam down rockers. So you had loads of different sound systems that would play out every weekend. And yeah, of course, in Brixton and the surrounding areas, South London, North London, all over. And then we'd venture out, to Birmingham. Birmingham's got a massive sound system culture as well. Bristol, all over. We'd go all over with our sounds and have like sound clashes. So one sound will play against the other sounds, and it was all about who had the heaviest bass, whose bass line could play without being distorted. You know what I mean? And on these sound systems, you had DJs, MCs, and we would all gather around the sound systems, maybe 5, 6, 7 MCs, and then we'd all have goes in, chatting our lyrics. Yeah, like, my name Alana G, hey, oh, yes, it is me, the classical MC with the call, and you write your own lyrics. The crowd would get really high. Yeah, yeah. And that was it, really. That was the sound system culture. It was a way of life. And that's how um it all started for me and helped me to start writing lyrics, start writing poetry, and start expressing myself as an artist.
So once you got in, you said that you grabbed the microphone. How supportive is that community? Because you're saying that you're learning to write, you're learning to go through.
If you're good, because at the time when I started, there weren't many women around. I didn't see any women around as actually on the microphone. So it was so much harder for me because these guys were like, they were just so in their ways with their rhythm, with their lyrics. And I was like, yeah, I want to go, I want to go. But when I finally was able to get the mic and they realized that actually I did have something to say and I was good, I had a flow, I had a cadence, I knew that I was going up against some of the best. So I had to be as good or better, mate. Do you know what I mean? Or better, because that's how I always looked at things. You have to be as good or better. So I used to listen to the DJs in Jamaica. We used to get cassette tapes from the, in the record shops. We'd listen to the sound systems in Jamaica. That's where it all started. The sound systems in Jamaica. You had Stereophonic, you had this Stone Love, you had all these great big sounds, and then you had all of these fantastic DJs coming out. So when you hear of people like Beanie Man and Shabba Ranks and, even Sean Paul and all of these people, they all started on sound systems before they were able to make any records. They had their sound, and people would go to these parties on a weekend and hear them chant on a mic. And if you were really good, you get a record. You go in the studio, you chant those lyrics on a record, and then you get more popular. And that's what happened with me. I was chanting for years before, Mad Professor heard me. We did a recording at Dick Shepherd Youth Centre with Sir Lloyd, and it was, myself, Tipper Irie, Smiley Culture, Asher Senator, a lot of the most of the DJs in and around London. And we made this live recording. And in my case, Mad Professor was engineering that album, and he heard me and asked Sir Lloyd, who's this girl? Who's this? And then Sir Lloyd told him, And then he said, I want to make a record with her. And that's how it all started with me having a recording career. It was with Mad Professor, yeah.
Do you think that having a female voice helped you cut through? Or do you think that you were going to cut through no matter what? No matter the circumstances, did you have the belief that you would get over all of those obstacles to get the record contract, to go further?
It wasn't even in my mind. None of that was in my mind. I didn't think about going further, taking it further, or making a record. It wasn't on my mind. I was in those dances. I was having fun. I was a teenager. I was rocking the house with my lyrics, and that's all I wanted to do. I hadn't thought any further than that.
If I'd asked you at that time period what you wanted to be when you grew up, did you know?
I wanted to be an entertainer, for sure. I definitely knew that I was born to be on stage, whether it was going to be acting, singing, but whatever it was going to be, I feel like that is definitely my purpose. It was always been. So I would have said to you that I'd wanted to be an entertainer.
You know, I wish we had hours now to chart from the mid 80s to stepping onto the stage at Edinburgh. Let me skip straight forward to Edinburgh right now. Why is Edinburgh exciting to you?
Do you know what? I said this to somebody yesterday. I feel like a teenager again going to Edinburgh. It makes me feel like a teenager because I've been to Edinburgh several times to see my friends in shows and also just going up there just for the vibe, you know. So to think that I'm now going to go up there and I'm going to be doing a show for a week, I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited. And as I said, it just feels like a big adventure, you know, in every way, shape, and form. It just feels like a really big adventure. Yeah, and yeah, and I'm just grateful for it. I'm just grateful for this adventure, for getting a chance to keep rerunning this play and getting a chance to explore more and redefine it and refine it. And yeah, it's just yeah, it feels really great. It feels really, really.
The play itself, it's a long one for Edinburgh. It's running 70 minutes, and it is autobiographical.
Mm.
How do you decide which points of your life go into this show?
You know, the points, the stuff that came up, and you know, it all started when I was at a silent retreat. Later on in my life, I was in a silent retreat. I was, you know, searching for something more than was what was happening in my present life. Um, and I went on this retreat, and in that retreat, a lot of things came up. Many things from my childhood just started to come up. This is what happens when you're silent, you know. When you're silent, that's the loudest it is. Do you know what I mean? In some other effects. And those things that started coming up it was obviously I know now that it was a part of my healing because they had to come up in order to come out. But they stuck with me, and I realized that okay, I buried a lot of stuff. Like I thought I'd forgotten, but actually no, I guess I pushed them down because a lot of them were painful. A lot of stuff were, you know, there was happy times, but there was also painful times and there was a lot of grief. And so, yeah, I pushed it very, very, very far down. So when they started to surface up again, I just started to write them down. I just started to write them down and just thought, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember when that happened. Oh my gosh, really? Was that me? Sometimes I look at my life and I think, really? That was me? I did that? You know? And it was fascinating to me. It was very, very fascinating to me, especially when I started going on a journey of self-inquiry and really looking at who the real self is, not the false sense of self, but the real true self, the real true being. When I started to look at that, and then I could be the observer. I started to be the observer of the mind and of, my past self. I found it, really, really fascinating. And I thought, yeah, because I'm in this industry, it's a movie, it's a play, it's a book. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? So the way how these stories came out, what I it almost doesn't feel like I chose them to be in this story. They chose to be in this story. They came out, and then I got a really wonderful dramaturgy uh, team that helped me to structure the stories, and it helped me to structure them into the play that it is now. You know.
Which moments have pushed themselves into the play?
Mm. Some of the emotional experiences I felt, there was a lot of things. As I said, I had a very, very colourful past, and I was quite a boisterous, rebellious teenager. So in my teenage years, I got into a lot of trouble. I got in trouble with the police. I just got in a lot of trouble with school, with the school system. I wasn't getting on well with school, so I went to several schools. I also went into several children's home. I was quite lost as well. And in that time, I was having the best time of my life because I had no care in the world. Do you understand? But certain things happened. And so when I talk about some of these things, and I also talk about, for me, this journey is, look where I was then and look where I am now. That's what the journey is about. And the play and the stories is about, yeah, there's certain experiences that happen, and I'm going through it in my mind. It's all about the mind. I'm being the observer of these things. So in this play, you're literally watching somebody unravel the mind attacks. You know what I mean? When things come back to haunt you from the past, what do you do? How do you overcome them? How do you get through them?
What if you had seen this play 30 years ago and didn't know it was you, didn't know that you were watching your future? What do you think younger you could take from it?
The younger me could take from it is to, you know what? You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Don't believe everything that you hear. And don't believe everyone who says you are what you are, because they don't know. You find out. It's your responsibility to find out who you are. That's what I would say. Yeah. You find out who you are. Don't allow anyone to put their own projections on you, because you'll get it from your teachers, you'll get it from your parents, you'll get it from your friends, you'll get it from your brothers and your sisters, you'll get it from everywhere, from the systems that runs the world, the countries. You'll get it from them, and none of it's going to be true.
Have you found out who you are yet?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I'm finding out more every single day. Every single day. What I do know, I know who I'm not. And that's the most important thing. I know what I'm not, you know, because the journey never stops, and I never stop learning. In a second, I can think, oh yeah, I got it now. Yeah. And then something comes to just bite me in the butt, mate. It was like, so, I will say, I will more say, I know who I am not. And I'm just in that place of learning openness and learning every day. And that's bringing me so much enjoyment.
So we're recording this a couple of days before you make the trip up to Edinburgh. The show is, by the way, now you're all hearing this. The show is on now, so you can get your tickets. We'll give you the links back at our website. But you've been running through the show at Brixton House, as I understand.
Yeah.
What have you learnt from the show that you didn't expect? How has the show changed? How has it surprised you?
Doing it over again, we started at Brixton House and we were fortunate enough to go to the Royal Court, and now we're back at Brixton House again. And what's been so surprising is the layers that we're finding in this play. It's almost like a reimagining of the first story and the second story and the third story. It's almost like, it feels new to me. I'm looking at it also with new eyes, because where I was last year, I'm not there anymore. I'm here now, I'm present, and I've learned so much. So everything that I've taken from my journey, I'm on a constant learning, I'm on a constant self-inquiry. Yeah? So everything that I'm learning, I'm taking myself into it. So yeah, it's different, and it's vast. It feels vast.
The Fringe, of course, is just one part of a wide landscape of arts and culture. I'm guessing this doesn't end at Edinburgh and it goes on further.
It does, yes. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, we have a UK tour after the Fringe, so we're gonna go to Birmingham Rep. I think that's October, early October. Then we go to Manchester. We go to Leeds, Brighton, Coventry, Bristol. I think I've covered most of the places, but yeah, we've got a lovely tour. So if you go to the respective websites, you'll be able to get tickets.
And we will have links back to your website and links to the tour website.
Yes.
Our website, which is edinburghfringe.thepodcastcorner.com. That has never changed.
Absolutely. And Hackney Showroom, who's produced this play, you'll get all the information at Hackney Showroom.
And where can people find out more information about yourself?
I'm on socials as Sutara Gayle on Instagram. I also have a website called sutara.org.uk. And I'm out there somewhere. If you look for Sutara Gayle, you'll find me. If you look for Lorna G, you'll find something else. But it's all me. It's all merging into one somehow.
I've done this Fringe for so many years, and every time there are new stories and there are new emotions, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to experiencing. And as you said, when you started off the show, the Fringe, people equate it to like a quick fix almost. Like you go in and you'll see a short run of shows that are really great. Some really just impactful shows. And this show is a little bit longer than the normal. And, you do wonder how, I don't know. All you can do is just go, I just want to come up there, tell my story as it is. And it's an invitation. It's just an invitation for you to, hear my story. And if it makes you want to tell your own story, then it's a job well done, And
it is a job well done. But for now, Sutara, thanks very much for coming in and talking to me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Ewan. Look forward to seeing you up there.
Sutara Gayle there, Legends of Them is the show, plays at Zoo Southside, 5:25 through to 6:35. It's the 1 hour 10. You can't get it all in the regulation Fringe hour. As always, links abound back at our website, edinburghfringe.thepodcastcorner.com. It is kind of getting close to the end of the run of the podcast. It's kind of hard to get people to interview on the Saturday when they've only got the one performance left. But the Fringe is all out there. Remember the rule of three. Choose choose something you like, choose something that somebody else likes, choose something completely at random. Those three will make an absolute blunder of a day at the Fringe. And if you want to go for a day and a night, choose another three. And if you're going to be up here for 2 days, just keep looping round and looping round and looping round and enjoy everything you can find at the Fringe. As always, link, like, love, share, subscribe if you can to the podcast. We sneak these up on YouTube as well. So if you're listening on my personal YouTube channel, hi, most of the stuff goes on the podcast though, but thanks, you found me. That's half the battle like this. You can leave a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. If you're in a podcast app, you can leave a star rating more than likely. You might even have the chance to leave a text review as well. If you've time to do that, great. If not, join me and get back into the scrum that is the Fringe. Ta-ra for now. Been listening to the Edinburgh Fringe Show, hosted by Ewan Spence, produced by the Podcast Corner for Spence Media and Radio 6 International. Listen to more from the Fringe at edinburghfringe.thepodcastcorner.com.